Rain pours as a 12-year-old Marcus watches his father, Isaiah Johnson, demonstrate a Kali stick technique in their tiny garage dojo. Isaiah's movements are fluid, lethal, yet controlled. Asterisk. Isaiah, martial arts ain't about hurting people, Marcus. It's about control. You strike only when there's no other way. Marcus mimics him, but his strike goes wild. Isaiah corrects his grip, smiling. Isaiah, good. Now remember, the world's gonna test you. Don't let it make you cruel. Cut to present day. Marcus, now 15, runs his fingers over his father's old fighting sticks, hidden under his bed. His mother, Tanya, calls from the kitchen. Their new apartment smells of takeout. She's exhausted from her double shift. Scene 2, the new school, microaggressions brewing. Lincoln High School, whispers follow Marcus as he walks the halls. A girl accidentally drops her books in front of him, expecting him to pick them up. He does. She doesn't thank him. Derek, smirking to Jake, look. The help's already trained. Jake laughs. Marcus keeps walking, clenching his jaw. His father's voice echoes, control. Scene 3, the cafeteria provocation. Marcus sits alone. Jake and Derek slam their trays down at his table. Jake, this seat's taken. By, like, people who belong here. Marcus stands to leave. Derek trips him, sending his lunch sprawling. The room snickers. A teacher glances over, then looks away. Marcus wipes his hands, says nothing. But his fists tremble. Scene 4, the pool party, tension builds. Jake's birthday pool party. Marcus only goes because his mom begged him to make friends. Kids splash under strobe lights. Marcus lingers at the edge, ignored, until Jake spots him. Jake, grinning, yo, Derek. Bet you $5 the new kid can't even swim. Marcus turns to leave. Derek blocks him. Derek, where you going? Scared of water? Or just scared of us? Marcus tries to step around them. Jake shoves him backward, splash. Marcus hits the water. Laughter erupts. Scene 5, the drowning, climax of Act 1, high drama. Underwater, Marcus kicks toward the surface. Jake stomps on his fingers. He gasps, choking on chlorinated water. Derek jumps in, pinning Marcus's shoulders down. Bubbles stream from Marcus's nose as his vision blurs. The world muffles. Then. Flashback, his father's voice, when they grab you here, you move like this. Marcus's body reacts before his mind does. His leg hooks Derek's knee. A twist, a surge, Derek flips backward, crashing into the pool with a thunderous splash. Silence. Every kid freezes. Marcus hauls himself out, dripping, chest heaving. Jake stares, mouth open. Marcus picks up his towel. Says only, I know how to swim. As he walks away, whispers follow, did you see that? What was that? Scene 6, the aftermath, seeds of Act 2. Jake's house. His dad, Coach Reynolds, scowls at Derek's bruised elbow. Coach Reynolds, a scrawny kid did this? You're embarrassing me. Jake's eyes darken. He won't get away with it. Cut to Marcus's bedroom. He stares at his reflection, gripping his father's sticks. For the first time, he smiles. Marcus sits across from Principal Higgins, a woman with cold eyes and a reputation for protecting star athletes. Jake and Derek lounge smugly beside Coach Reynolds, who radiates quiet menace. Tanya Johnson grips Marcus's shoulder, her nails digging in, not in anger, but in fear. Principal Higgins. Marcus, 3 students saw you attack Derek unprovoked at the pool. Lincoln High has a zero-tolerance policy for violence. Tanya, voice cracking. Unprovoked. They held him underwater. Where are their suspensions? Coach Reynolds, smirking. Boys roughhouse. Your son clearly knows how to handle himself, maybe too well. Marcus's fists clench. The principal's gaze flicks to them, as if proving her point. Marcus, soft, dangerous. So I'm getting punished, for not drowning? Silence. Higgins shifts uncomfortably. Verdict. Marcus, 2-week suspension, probation. Jake and Derek, mediation session. As they leave, Jake whispers, should have stayed under. Marcus doesn't react, but his mother does. She whirls, slamming her palm into the locker beside Jake's head. The bang echoes. Tanya, low, trembling. Touch my son again, and I'll show you real violence. Coach Reynolds steps forward, but Tanya doesn't flinch. The moment stretches, then breaks. She pulls Marcus away. Scene 2, the aftermath, invisible boy. Montage, Marcus's suspension. The school moves on. The pool story mutates, he attacked them. He's psychotic. Teachers avoid him. Classmates accidentally bump into him. He becomes a ghost in his own life. At home, Tanya works double shifts. Marcus watches his father's old fight tapes. A news segment plays, Jake Reynolds leads Lincoln High to state finals. The camera pans to Coach Reynolds beaming. Marcus turns it off. Then, a knock. A grizzled man in a leather jacket stands there, holding a faded photo of Marcus's dad. Sensei Carter. Sensei Carter. Isaiah said you'd need me one day. Took you longer than I expected. Marcus's breath catches. This man trained his father. The last living piece of him. Part 2, the training, 4,000 words. Scene 3, the first lesson, you fight like a victim. An abandoned warehouse. Dust floats in the air. Carter tosses Marcus a pair of Kali sticks. Sensei Carter. Show me what Isaiah taught you. Marcus demonstrates a basic drill, but Carter explodes into motion, disarming him in one move. Marcus hits the concrete, gasping. Sensei Carter. You fight like you're scared to hurt them. That's why you lose. Marcus, panting. My dad said never fight angry. Sensei Carter, yanking him up. He also said, protect what matters. You think he'd want you getting stomped by racist kids? He forces Marcus into a stance. Again. Scene 4. The breaking point, locker room trap. School locker room. Marcus changes after gym. The door slams shut. Jake, Derek, and 2 linemen block it. Jake swings a metal lock like a flail. Jake. You really thought you could embarrass us and just walk away? Derek charges. Marcus ducks, sweeps his legs, pins him, but doesn't strike. The others freeze. Marcus. I don't want to fight you. Jake swings the lock. Marcus deflects with a locker door, crack, then twists Jake's wrist until he drops it, whimpering. Then, Coach Reynolds bursts in. His eyes lock on the lock. He knows. He doesn't care. Coach Reynolds. Johnson. You're expelled. Marcus looks at Jake, expecting him to confess. Jake smirks. Part 3, The Descent, 2,500 words. Scene 5, the night everything cracks. Marcus's bedroom. He throws his backpack against the wall. His father's photo falls, glass shattering. Tanya sobs in the kitchen. The TV blares, Jake Reynolds accepts scholarship. Asterisk. Sensei Carter arrives, tossing a flyer on the bed, underground fight tournament, settle your scores. Marcus, hoarse. You want me to break the law? Sensei Carter. I want you to fight back. Jake's brother, Troy. He's the champ. Beat him, and the whole system sees you're not prey. Marcus stares at his father's broken photo. For the first time, he nods. Marcus. Teach me how to win. Carter grins. Now you're talking. Cut to Jake at a party, bragging. Troy Reynolds, a 6 feet 4 inches wrestler, cracks his knuckles. Troy. If that punk shows his face, I'll break him. A dimly lit basement beneath an old boxing gym. The air smells of sweat and blood. Marcus follows Sensei Carter down creaking stairs, his heartbeat loud in his ears. The sounds of fists on flesh grow louder. Sensei Carter. This ain't no dojo. These men fight dirty. You ready to see what real combat looks like? They enter a cavernous room where a makeshift cage stands center. Fighters of all sizes. Some scarred, some fresh, circle each other. Bookies take bets in corners. Marcus spots Troy Reynolds in the ring, dismantling an opponent twice his size with brutal efficiency. Random spectator. Troy's been champion for 2 years straight. Nobody lasts a minute against his ground game. Marcus's mouth goes dry as Troy snaps an armbar, making his opponent tap instantly. The crowd roars. Troy's eyes lock onto Marcus with predator's interest. Sensei Carter, low. That's your mountain. You climb it, nobody touches you again. Scene 7, the hardest training, 2,000 words. Montage sequence intercut with Jake's escalating harassment at school. Pre-dawn runs, Marcus sprints uphill with tires chained to his waist, Carter riding beside him on a bike shouting. Pain is just fear leaving your body. Blindfolded drills, Marcus spars against 3 attackers, relying only on sound and touch. Flashbacks to his father's voice. See with your skin, boy. Ice baths and broken knuckles. Marcus soaks bloodied hands in salt water, teeth gritted. Tanya finds him one morning passed out on the kitchen floor, his wrap stained red. She says nothing, just carries him to bed. Meanwhile, at school, Jake leads a chant of "freak" as Marcus walks the halls. Teachers turn a blind eye to stolen homework, tripping accidents. A locker vandalized with "Know Your Place" in red paint. Scene 8, the betrayal, 1,500 words. Marcus arrives at the warehouse to find Carter sparring with Coach Reynolds. They laugh like old friends. Marcus freezes. Marcus. You know him? Coach Reynolds, smirking. Marine Corps, 98. Carter here saved my dumb ass in Fallujah. Carter avoids Marcus's gaze. The truth crashes over him, this was never just about training. Marcus, voice breaking. You set me up. This was some test. Sensei Carter. Your dad asked me to watch over you. But a man's gotta learn the world ain't black and white. Marcus throws his headgear down. The sound echoes like a gunshot. Marcus. Fuck your lessons. He storms out. Carter doesn't stop him. Scene 9, the night before, 1,000 words. Marcus sits on his roof, staring at the tournament flyer. Tanya climbs up beside him, 2 sodas in hand. Tanya. Your father once told me the scariest thing about fighting isn't losing, it's winning. Because then you have to decide what kind of man you are. She hands him a faded photo, Isaiah Johnson in his Marine uniform, standing beside a young Carter and Reynolds. Tanya. They were all brothers once. Then life happened. Marcus turns the photo over. On the back, his father's handwriting. Violence is a language. Be fluent enough to survive, but never let it become your mother tongue. First light breaks. Tomorrow, the tournament. Scene 1, enter the shadow. The underground fight club is packed, the air thick with sweat and cigarette smoke. Fighters wrap their hands in tape, bookies shout odds. Marcus. Hood up, Face hidden, registers under the name, The Shadow. Promoter, skeptical. You sure you want to do this, kid? Last guy Troy fought left in an ambulance. Marcus says nothing, just signs the waiver. Across the room, Troy Reynolds laughs with his crew, flexing his massive shoulders. Jake and Derek sit ringside, smug. Jake, loudly. Hey Shadow. Hope you like hospital food. Marcus keeps walking. Sensei Carter stands near the entrance, arms crossed. Their eyes meet, Carter gives a single nod. No words needed. Scene 2, First Blood. Marcus's first fight is against Rattlesnake, a wiry Muay Thai specialist with a reputation for breaking ribs. Rattlesnake opens with a flying knee, Marcus barely dodges. The crowd jeers, Shadow's scared. Then, Marcus ducks low, sweeps Rattlesnake's legs, locks in a chokehold. The man taps out in 28 seconds. Silence. Then, cheers. Jake's smile fades. Announcer, grinning. Well, shit. We got ourselves a dark horse. Cut 2. Troy watching from the VIP section, cracking his knuckles. Game on. Part 2, The Final Fight, 4,000 words. Scene 3, Troy vs. Shadow. The crowd parts as Marcus steps into the cage. Troy rolls his neck, grinning. Troy, mocking. Ah, the little Shadow thinks he's tough. Let's see how long you last. Round 1. Troy bull rushes, slamming Marcus into the cage. Marcus's ribs scream, but he slips under, landing 3 sharp elbows to Troy's kidney. The wrestler roars, swinging wildly. Round 2. Troy takes Marcus down, mounting him. The crowd chants, finish him. Marcus's vision blurs, then he hears his father's voice, breathe. See. He bridges hard, reversing position, locking Troy's arm in a kimura. Troy screams, but doesn't tap. Round 3. Both men bloodied, exhausted. Troy feints left, Marcus reads it, countering with a spinning back kick to the liver. Troy crumples. The ref counts, 3, 2, 1. Silence. Then, the crowd erupts. Marcus stands, chest heaving. Troy glares up, humiliated. Troy, spitting blood. This ain't over. Then, Jake leaps into the cage, swinging a chain. Marcus blocks, but the crowd turns ugly. A riot starts. Part 3, The Aftermath, 2,000 words. Scene 4, The video leaks. Someone filmed everything. By morning, the footage is everywhere, Troy losing. Jake attacking. Coach Reynolds bribing refs. The school board has no choice, expulsions are reversed. Coach suspended. But Marcus isn't celebrating. He visits his father's grave, leaving the tournament medal on the headstone. Marcus, whispering. I did it right, Dad. I won, but I didn't lose myself. Cut to 6 months later. Marcus walks the halls, head high. Jake avoids his gaze. Sensei Carter waits at the exit, tossing him car keys. Sensei Carter. You ready for your first real lesson? Marcus smirks. Fade to black. A battered neon sign flickers, Iron Fist tournament, tonight. Marcus adjusts his black mask in a filthy bathroom mirror. His knuckles are taped, his ribs still bruised from training. Sensei Carter leans in the doorway. Sensei Carter. Remember, this ain't about revenge. It's about reminding them what fear tastes like. The crowd's roar vibrates through the walls. Marcus steps into a converted warehouse where hundreds of spectators surround a chain-link cage. Bookies shout odds. His first opponent, Rattlesnake, stretches with sadistic glee. Rattlesnake, grinning. I'll make this quick, Shadow. Promise. The bell dings, Rattlesnake lunges with a flying knee. Marcus ducks, sweeps his legs, and armbars him in 22 seconds flat. The crowd goes silent. Then, explodes. Announcer, shocked. Ladies and gentlemen. We have a problem. Cut to, VIP section. Troy Reynolds crushes a beer can, eyes locked on Marcus. Jake whispers frantically to his brother. Scene 2, the semi-final, blood and revelation. Marcus's next opponent, the Butcher, a 280-pound brawler with a prison yard reputation. The fight is brutal. Marcus takes a broken nose early but counters with a Cali stick-inspired flurry of elbows. The Butcher collapses in round 3. Asterisk. Post-fight, Marcus stumbles to the locker room, where Coach Reynolds waits, holding an envelope. Coach Reynolds. Take this cash. Walk away. Or Troy ends you in that cage. Marcus wipes blood from his mouth, lets the money fall. Marcus. Tell your boy to bring his best. Coach's face darkens. He pulls a knife, but Sensei Carter appears, disarming him in one motion. Sensei Carter, cold. You always were a sore loser, Mike. The betrayal is ancient, personal. Coach spits, leaves. Carter turns to Marcus. Sensei Carter. Now you see. This was never just about you. Part 2, Troy vs. Shadow, The Final War, 4,000 words. Scene 3, The Champions Welcome. Troy enters the cage to booming hype music, flexing for cameras. He's 6 feet 4 inches, 240 pounds of muscle, tattoos of Confederate flags stark on his arms. The crowd chants, Reynolds. Reynolds. Marcus walks in silence. The announcer sneers. Announcer. Looks like the shadow's about to be extinguished. Ding ding. Round 1, the beast unleashed. Troy charges like a bull, slamming Marcus into the cage. Body shots crack ribs, Marcus gasps, barely blocks a head kick. The crowd roars as Troy mounts him, raining down punches. Flashback, Marcus's father, bleeding in a hospital bed, whispers, the deeper the pain, the louder the truth. Marcus bridges explosively, reversing position. Round 2, the turn. Marcus feints left, then drops low. Spinning back kick to the liver. Troy staggers, vomits bile. The crowd goes silent. Marcus presses the attack, arm drag, straight ankle lock. Troy SCRMS, but refuses to tap. Troy, gasping. I'd rather die, than lose to you. Round 3, the reckoning. Both men bloody, barely standing. Troy headbutts Marcus, illegal, opening a gash. Ref doesn't call it. Jake cheers from ringside. Marcus sees red. For the first time, he wants to hurt Troy. Then, his father's voice, justice. Not vengeance. He ducks Troy's haymaker, locks in a rear naked choke. Troy thrashes, then goes limp. Silence. Then, the ref raises Marcus's hand. The crowd is stunned. Suddenly, Jake leaps into the cage, swinging a chain. Jake, screaming. You ruined everything. Marcus disarms him with a wristlock, Jake collapses sobbing. The footage goes viral instantly. Part 3, The Aftermath, 3,000 words. Scene 4, Fallout. 48 hours later. Coach Reynolds arrested for fight fixing. Troy's scholarship revoked after racist texts surface. Marcus reinstated at school, but he doesn't return. Instead, he sits at his father's grave, placing the tournament medal on the headstone. Marcus, whispering. Was this what you wanted, Dad? The wind rustles leaves, almost like a reply. Tanya arrives, handing him a letter. Tanya. Carter's Academy. Full scholarship. He says you've got a gift. Marcus smiles. Fade to black. Epilogue, 1 year later. A new student gets bullied at Lincoln High. A shadow falls across the tormentors. It's Marcus, now an assistant coach. He helps the kid up, says only, "Marcus. Come on. I'll teach you how to handle this." Final frame, his father's photo on the gym wall, watching. The end.